considerado como uno de los directores de cine más talentosos
ya es
de los
compa,
últimos años, el Jon Favreau, ¿no? Estuvo recientemente en México para promocionar, por supuesto, El Rey León y el bro de Claudio, que tuve la oportunidad de platicar con él. Esta es la primera parte de la entrevista. Buena onda, ¿no?
Buena onda, muy aliviante.
Vamos a verlo.
Amigos de Bla Bla Show, una película que está a punto de salir, que estamos seguros que va a ser un verdadero éxito. Estamos hablando del Rey León y tenemos el honor de poder platicar con su director, Mr. Jon Favreau. Thank you so much for your time this interview.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Honored to have you here.
It's very nice. Thank you.
How can you describe the adventure of doing this movie of such a classic story?
I think it was an adventure, you know. It was technically challenging because nobody had ever used these particular tools to make a movie before. There was a source material that was very, you know, it's very beloved. So we were inheriting a great story and great music. And it was our job to reinvent it in a way that paid honor, you know, that paid tribute to the original, but still did something new and different so that if you saw the old movie and you saw this, it felt like they were connected, but it was a different experience. And a lot of that was through the technology that we used. A lot of it's the new cast. And a lot of it was people who returned who worked on the old one to help ensure that this kept the legacy alive.
Now, what could be the biggest lesson that you get doing Jungle Book that you actually use it here in Lion King?
I learned how to work with animators, and I learned how to, normally when I've worked with CGI before, like an Iron Man, you have a whole movie to hide behind and you just show a little bit of CGI, but here the whole movie was CGI. So I'm lucky that I had the experience of how to really refine the process so that we created a culture where it wasn't about making the most beautiful image, it was about making the most realistic photoreal image. And so that required a lot of constraints and discipline on the artists who could paint anything, they could make the light whatever they want it to be. So a lot of times it taught me from working on Jungle Book to say, no, that sky is too beautiful, that shot's too perfect, the Japanese have a word called wabi-sabi. You know, you have to give it a little bit of human imperfection.
And I think it's hard to find that balance between comedy and that realistic like look, right?
That's right. And because, you know, the animated film 25 years ago relied a lot on facial expressions, slapstick comedy, because you could make the animals move around in a funny way with Timon and Pumbaa. Here we didn't have nearly as much freedom. And so we had to create, a tone that serviced what people expected from the old one, but presented in a way that didn't break the illusion of that you're looking at something that was real.
How much footage do you have to watch of Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, National Geographic to look the reaction of the different animals?
We study, thanks to the internet, there's endless supplies of research. And, you know, there were trips to Africa for research where we filmed. We went to actually Animal Kingdom in Orlando because they let us bring the cameras in to observe and to develop digital models of those characters, of those animals, without scanning them and putting them through that kind of discomfort. We were able to do everything without interfering in any way with the live animals. And then, of course, we would look at documentaries, especially the BBC documentaries, especially the Attenborough ones like Planet Earth 2. It was always fascinating to me how much emotion those documentaries made me feel, but the animals were acting very naturally. It was all done through photography, music, storytelling. And I talked to Hans Zimmer a lot, but that the documentarian's sensibility was very helpful for us.
Oigan, ya estamos de regreso y como os hemos hablado mucho el día de hoy del Rey León, tenemos una segunda parte de la gran entrevista que le hizo más bien nuestro querido Claudio al director Jon Favreau. Tu English está muy bien, bro.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Ya dije.
And talking about the cast, you told me how important it was for the movie. How hard was to ensemble such a great cast?
Fortunately, because it's The Lion King, people were very excited to be involved, and so everybody agreed that I had approached to be in it.
And the music, tell us a little bit, can we expect the same songs or can we expect new songs?
Both.
Both?
Yes. So, for the most part, we stayed true to what people have grown accustomed to. We didn't want to deviate too much, and Hans Zimmer was overseeing all of the music. So anything new that's in there is being overseen by Hans and being worked into the film. So, but Elton John recorded a new song that Tim Rice wrote with him at the end of the film, and so there's opportunities to sprinkle in some more music, but it has to fit within the personality of the original.
Now, I really like the look of Scar. It looks really badass. Tell us a little bit what can we expect of Scar as a character?
Chiwetel Ejiofor plays the voice of Scar. And Scar is a very subtle villain compared to most Disney villains. Certainly compared to Shere Khan, the tiger from Jungle Book, was very upfront and aggressive and intimidating. Scar is a little bit more of a duplicitous and has a little bit more strategy and less overt power, because he could never face Mufasa down. And so it's almost like a Shakespearean villain. And building on what Jeremy Irons did for the animated film, we wanted to maintain that same personality. Even though the look is slightly different and the interpretation is slightly different, I think that Shakespearean, the feeling like you're watching a villain from a classic theater piece, we wanted to preserve that tone.
Awesome. Now, the last question: which of the characters of the film is more like the way you are?
Me?
Yeah.
I try to be like Mufasa, but I'm probably more like Pumbaa.
Oh.
It's the truth.
Cool. Thank you so much for the time of this interview. An honor to talk with you. Congratulations, because it looks great. I know it's going to be also a movie that a whole generation is going to embrace. So thank you so much, Mr. Jon Favreau.
It's very nice talking to you.
Great. Ya lo checaron. Vamos a continuar con más aquí en Bla Bla Show, El Rey León. No se lo pierdan. Fíjense que un tipazo, Jon Favreau, muy contento de formar parte de un proyecto tan clásico como El Rey León, y creo que de estas nuevas versiones que está haciendo Disney, no sería live action porque no hay un humano como tal, sigue siendo como animación, pero creo que es la que mejor le viera en
taquilla. Live action es más como Dora la Exploradora, ¿no?
Como
la de
Dora la Exploradora.
Exactamente. Oye, la música sigue siendo la original.
Sigue siendo la original, pero obviamente aprovechando que tienen a Beyoncé como una de los personajes, como Nala, va a haber canciones nuevas. O sea, va a haber las canciones que conocemos del Rey León y además canciones nuevas.
Así es.
A ver qué tal.